Hey, I have an update for you on the Alita sequel. Um, there was, I'm guessing this is recently, but there was an interview with Screen Rant and Jon Landau about Avatar: Way of Water. Although I'm not quite sure why this is coming out now, because Avatar was, released months ago. But anyway, apparently this is probably a recent interview, and Jon Landau pretty much expresses the same thing has already been saying over a few months now, saying that there have been talks with Robert Rodriguez and also Rosa Salazar. But in this comment, he seems a little bit more certain that things are happening. He doesn't like explicitly say that it is happening, but he might be. I think he's saying as much as he can without making an official announcement, and that's really what I'm waiting on, and that's kind of why I haven't been jumping on making a video and also kind of, you know, celebrating and all this and that. I'm still waiting on that official announcement, but we've been pretty sure for a bit now that the sequel was probably going to happen, as we kept saying. That no news is probably good news, because if it wasn't happening, they would probably just come out and say it's not happening. But because they would never say no, we always had hope that it was still on the table. And no doubt it is also because of the efforts of the fans. It is because of the campaigns and the things that we've done to keep the fandom sort of visible, to keep her name, or Alita's name, relevant in a way, because if this movie had just performed okay and then there was not a peep made about it, I believe that they would have gotten the impression that nobody wanted to see a sequel, or that not enough people wanted to see a sequel. But because of the noise we made, I believe that really kept Alita's sequel hopes alive, and that is kind of reflected in the words that not James, but Jon Landau says when he says, "Thank you, Alita." He comes out and says, "Thank you, Alita Army, for your never-ending support," and things like that. That kind of lets me know that there's still hope because of us, because of the fans. So, waiting on that official announcement, but let's just read what Screen Rant says his comments are. And he says, "I think what we've learned from Avatar is how much more facial nuance and subtlety that we can get into characters that we want to be emotional and emote that are humanoid. Alita would not have been possible but for what we did on Avatar. Avatar: Way of Water would not be what it is, but what we did for Alita. And now let's put that back and give it back to Alita." So that right there is, he says, and now that kind of lets you know that they definitely plan to do it, even though James Cameron had already came out and said, "Hey, we're going to do a blood oath." So we kind of knew then. So I wasn't really sweating it at that point anymore. I was like, yeah, I think they're definitely going to do it, but still waiting on that official announcement. And the last sentence from Jon Landau is, "We're talking to Robert and talking to Rosa, and all is good." Now that all is good part right there, that could mean that they both are on board, right? Or that everyone else is on board. But that doesn't mean necessarily that the sequel is green lighted. But we know that they want to make a sequel, and we can be pretty sure that if James Cameron wants to make a sequel, it's going to get made. But we know that Disney has to agree to give him the money. So that is still out there. However, again, I think it is pretty certain that we will get it. We're just waiting for an official announcement, and that is when we can finally. Well, no, I'll say I will be happy, but I won't celebrate until I'm actually in the theater watching the movie. Okay, this is a crazy world we live in. So I'll be happiest when I actually sit my butt down in the theater. That's when I'll probably explode. That's not a bomb threat. Make that clear. Metaphorically explode. So that is pretty much all I have to say for this video. I'm waiting on an official announcement. Still happy that Jon Landau is still keeping the hope alive and that things seem to be moving, but waiting for the official announcement. So thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you later.